Alright folks, here we are, taking a short video to show my electric brewery that I'm going to be selling. I'm using this video to help with the sale of it so that everybody will know how it works and what you get. So this is my 10-gallon batch electric brewery. It has a 20-gallon kettle. We'll get to the details out in a minute, but I guess we'll start over here. You have a hot liquor tank, 10 gallons. Set up, go to the mash tun. Set up for fly sparging. I got some water in there just so you can see everything works. Anyways, setup works really good. Usually I have the mash tun up on a table and then I have the hot liquor tank elevated above that and use gravity to feed it. But anyways, you can see kind of how that setup works. Works really well, really efficient. Never have any stuck sparges or anything like that. Cooler is a Coleman Extreme, holds temperature basically perfectly. I hardly lose maybe half a degree or degree over hour and a half. It depends on what I'm doing. But anyways, works really well. So that's that setup. When we go over here, I've got the 20-gallon kettle. Right now it's got about 17 or so gallons boiling in it, just to kind of show how that works. It's got a 220 volt heating element, all stainless. As far as the parts that touch the water, other than the element is whatever those elements are usually made out of, high moly something. But anyways, no rust or anything like that. I got the right one, so it's set up right. 220 volts. Have it going over here to a power controller. This is just something I made. It varies the power going to the coil. So full throttle, 0, in between. So right now I have it cranking. But anyways, so over to the kettle. It's set up to Whirlpool. It's got all clover fittings, tri-clover fittings against the vessel with butterfly, sanitary butterfly valves. You can see there's a whirlpooling arm, or whatever you want to call it. All tri-clover butterfly valves. And then after everything that's not against the vessel basically switches over to the cam lock fittings. So you can see cam lock fittings there, cam lock fittings there. Cam lock fittings on the hot liquor tank, cam lock fittings on the mash tun down there. So on the exchanger, on the pump, everything. So it goes to a chugger pump. This is a 120 volt chugger. Works great, no issues. Keep it oiled. Haven't had any problems with it. No seal leaks, no nothing. And I'll crank it up here in a second. Goes from there through the Duda diesel exchanger. It's you probably are familiar with these if you're looking at this kind of stuff. It's a beer wort chiller. This is the B336A 30ST. It's a beast. It's way more than probably what's required, but I can drop the beer down pretty much instantaneously, run straight from the vessel at whatever temperature it's at. Let's say it's still sitting at 180 after I've whirlpooled and whatever. I can run it straight to the fermenter, have it knocked down to whatever temperature, 60 degrees or whatever you want it to be at, and I'll tell you a little bit about how I do that here in a second. But also you're going to get a Blickman Engineering hot blocker. It's a nice little add-on. Blickman thermometer, that's what I flowed through to go into my fermenter, and that's what allows me to hit my temperatures that I want to pitch my yeast at. So anyways, the way I chill the beer, or the wort, excuse me, is I use a submersible pump. I have another cooler with ice water in it. I throw this pump in there, and the pump pumps to the exchanger. So I put basically freezing water through the exchanger on one side, liquid hot magma wort on the other side. But on the you can get about 60 degrees or less out of this thing. So if you're gonna be doing what a lager or something where you need to pitch at a low temperature, this thing will do it. It's a pretty simple setup. And then at the same time, so in the cooler, I'll have this pump, and I'll also be feeding a little bit of fresh water in there, and I'll add a little bit of ice as needed through the process. But it works really good. Exchanger works good, no issues. So I'm gonna pause real quick and start the circulation of the pump. Alright, so now my pump is circulating. You can see it's kind of taking a hit on my boil a little bit because the exchanger isn't as hot. It actually will boil. It'll get back up to a boil in a minute once it gets that exchanger heated up. But anyways, let me shut off the coil real quick. Drop that down to 0. Alright, now we'll see. You can see that we're starting to get a whirlpool. So I use that, and you whirlpool. If you're making an IPA or something like that, you do a good whirlpool, you'll end up with a pile of hops in the center of the kettle. Won't pick up too much trash on the bottom, and just keeps everything, less stuff going into your fermenter, which is a good thing. So anyways, and then also, like I said, you get the Blickman hop blocker. You can use that. You're making a big IPA, a Pliny clone or something like that. That's probably the way to go. But if you've priced a setup like this, you know it can get pretty expensive pretty quick. All these fittings, these triclover fittings, these valves, the element, all these different things just kind of add up. But anyways, I mean, just in fittings alone, this is probably about $500 or $600. But I'm gonna ask $600 for the whole setup, which I think is reasonable. I think it should be pretty easy to get when you consider everything that you're getting. It's probably about $1,500 to $2,000. I haven't really put my receipts together, but it's somewhere up there, worth of gear. So it's a good deal. Hit me up if you have any questions. That's about all I've got. Thanks.